Hello?
Hey, is Donald there?
This is his.
Hey, Donald, this is RJ Bates calling you about your property on Limestone. You had entered it on our website saying you wanted to sell that property.
Right.
You still looking to sell it?
I am.
Gotcha. What you looking to get for that?
I was looking around 125, 130.
125, 130. All right. And tell me a little bit about the property. What you got going on with it?
Long story short, I was gonna live in that house, and my kids didn't want to live there. I just bought a new house in Columbus. It was like 7 bedrooms. So I don't know what we used to spend with the whole COVID thing. Springfield has those national parks and all that stuff, like some really nice parks. And we used to go hang out in them, but we didn't have a place where we could rest, go to the bathroom. So I kind of bought that house with all that in mind. And then when my kids didn't want to move to Springfield and it got cold, I found myself not eager to be driving up all the way to Springfield from Columbus to be checking up on it. And that's pretty much it.
Gotcha.
I kind of use, there's like a closet, and it has some pretty big closets. I use it for a little bit of storage for our clothing, but we've never even spent a night in the house. We just go there, we go hang out in Springfield, and then we come back to Columbus. We drive back to Columbus.
Did you just buy it in June?
Yeah, I did.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a pretty big house. I mean,
right.
I thought my kids would want to live there, but they didn't want to live there.
I see.
They didn't want to live in Springfield.
It's a pretty nice looking property. They must have completely remodeled it before you moved in.
Yeah, they did. It is really nice. It is really nice.
Yeah.
My $300,000 house does not have those things that they have in there, like marble sinks and butcher block countertops. And
right.
They did a pretty nice job. Wine cooler. Yeah, my house doesn't have all that stuff.
Right. So, how'd you come up with the price of 120?
Where I'm getting my price from is just what I thought that after all is said and done, what I would, make it work, because the time I spent, I didn't really do much of anything to it. I mean, it looks exactly the same way it did. I bought the stage and furniture. That furniture still sitting in there.
Gotcha.
So I didn't really do anything to it. Just coming up with that price, because I thought, the time, the effort, because it took me a long time to find that house, and a lot of effort of driving back into Springfield and stuff. But I guess I'm negotiable on the price, but that's where I came at. The other thing that I came at is I looked at other houses. So that house is sitting in the historical district of Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
And around the corner is Fountain Street, and they're redoing all the houses. So I think the one guy, he had like 135, but his house wasn't redone on the inside. So the other people, it was redone on the outside, but there was nothing done on the inside. Well, it was something done on the inside, but there was no upgrades. So there's like 3 or 4 houses that they're working on currently at the house that they're not done. So I'm assuming that when they go to sell, they will sell at a premium price. But that's just speculation. That's not anything that I can bank on. But they're pretty big, they're pretty nice, and they're remodeling the insides. So they're remodeling them from the bottom up.
See. Interesting. So you already have a property that you're living in. So what would you need the funds from this closing for? Or is it just to get rid of the property and kill the mortgage?
Yeah, pretty much.
Would you be open to something creative there? Because for me, it's like I get it. You've got a fully remodeled property, right? And you just bought it. Doesn't need any work. I'm an investor, so I'm looking at it saying, all right, well, I mean, I can pay whatever, but that's only dependent upon what my exit strategy is going to be, right? And so for something like this, I mean, you're saying it's got all this staging furniture still in it. So this gives me a couple of different exit strategies. I could keep it as a rental property, or I could Airbnb it, something along those lines. I'd have to look and see if that's allowed in the area. So there could be a couple of different creative things that we could do there. As far as either seller finance and a sub-2 mixture. I know I'm throwing out technical terms to you. I could explain what those mean, but essentially where I take over the mortgage payments and make payments to you monthly. And that allows me to be the professional and come in and do what I need to do, managing the property as a cash flowing asset. And so it could give you where you don't have to worry about the mortgage anymore, and you make a little bit of monthly cash flow on it. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
I'm open to suggestions. There is no mortgage on it. There's no mortgage on it.
Well, how would you feel about becoming the bank?
I mean, I possibly potentially could. That had crossed my mind. I talked to like a long time ago. I talked to a realtor about it. I don't want it sitting empty and unused. You know, I mean, that is just a waste.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you were to
gas bills and electric bills, you know, I'm like, it's sitting there unused. That's crazy.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, you could go from being cash negative on it, where you're paying, you know, electric bills and gas bills and all of that, plus property taxes. You could stop that bleeding and start making monthly cash flow on it from someone like me, where you sell or finance it to me. And then from there, that allows me to turn it into either, like I said, a short-term rental or a long-term rental.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
So
I don't want to be a landlord. So.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing about seller finance is you are the bank. You don't have to worry about tenants and toilets. All you have to do, you would take first lien position just like Chase Bank does. And at that point in time, you just collect monthly payments from me.
That's definitely a possibility.
Let's see here real quick. Let's see what these monthly payments. Do you know what the annual property taxes are on it?
I do not.
Let me look real quick. So if we did 120,000 over, and I'm just throwing in rough numbers. These are all numbers that we could change over 20 years. We would be making monthly payments to you, a minimum monthly payment of around $700 a month.
Okay.
And that would be for the next 20 years, as long as we don't overpay or prepay or refinance or pay off. But once we do that, that's when you would get the big lump sum payment.
Okay. Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, what? How much did you say?
$700, but that's giving you your 120,000. So okay. That's 120,000 would be the purchase price, and then that would be monthly payments over the next 20 years. So it'd be $700 a month.
Okay. You said 20 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, I just need to think over the numbers a little bit. It's a possibility. As I said, I'm not really looking to be a landlord.
But you're not. You're the bank. You're making interest on this. You know.
I get what you're saying.
So, like on this, on the total of 240 payments, I'm not paying you 120,000. I'm paying you 175,000. So you got to think about it from the perspective of you're going to make an additional $55,000 in interest.
Oh, your proposal sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, your proposal. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, your proposal sounds very, very, very interesting. Yeah, and it's a definite possibility. Because that could be like that could basically potentially fund my kids. Which is the only thing I ever wanted to do anyway. That's how I started this. I was like, go buy and hold on, and then I was like, I don't want to do this.
Well, let me tell you, I've got about 20 of these myself where I've done this with other people, and it is the best passive income that I have out of anything because the money shows up monthly. I don't have to worry about what's going on with the property. I don't have to worry about any gas bills or electric bills or property tax. I don't have to worry about any of that. It's just, did I get my payment this month? I did. Okay, good. And from there, it just shows up. It adds up, and I'm just looking at it going, holy cow! Like, how much money am I actually going to make over the course of this 20 years? And for you, I'm looking at this property. I'm going, okay, you bought this in June for 98,000, and you could turn around and turn it into something that you make 175,000 on. I mean, that's for doing nothing. I mean, like you said, yeah, you spent time to go find it, but you didn't rehab it. You didn't do anything.
I absolutely didn't do anything. Yep, I have not done a thing. So yeah, it's definitely possible. I tell you what, let me think about it. How long will you give me to think about this thing? Is definitely something that I would definitely consider.
Well, I don't want to be pushy, but I mean, let me just ask you. I mean, what is it that you need to think about?
I think about everything.
You're that kind of a guy, huh? I got you. Yeah, well, how long do you like to take to think about things?
A day or two. If you give me 2 days, I can have an answer for you.
All right. Well, how about this? Why don't you take through the weekend and let's talk on Monday? Actually, no. Well, actually, we can do that. It's just, are you okay with talking to my partner Cassie? Because I'm actually going to be going out of town on Monday. Are you okay talking? Or we could talk tomorrow if that's not too fast.
What is today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Yeah, I can talk to your partner. That's fine.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll start a group chat via text message with my partner Cassie, and I'll tell her all the details here. And then that way on Monday, you and her can chat because I'll actually be traveling with my son to go to a travel hockey tournament. So I won't be available, but yeah, she'll be able to walk you through the whole process. And hopefully this is something that you decide you want to do.
It sounds fantastic. Yep. So Monday, yeah. Yep. Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you on Monday, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was...
I think the favorite line that I absolutely stole from you was the no taxes, no tenants, no toilets.
Yep. You know how I came up with that one?
Did you steal it?
No, I just came up with it. I'm sure someone else had previously said it, but when I actually seller financed a rental property, and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. There's no tenants, there's no toilets, no taxes. I don't have to worry about this anymore. And it was like, for me personally, we converted a lot of our rental properties to seller finance just to alleviate some of those issues. And it was a great decision for us. So that was pretty cool. That's a good looking property. It's completely remodeled. And it sounds like it's in a great area. So it's pretty cool. And the offer that I made him, just so everybody knows, was with 0 down payment. But see how I didn't offer a down payment, or I never brought up a down payment. I just said my offer is $120,000, and this is how much I'm going to pay you monthly. It was just assumed. There was never a conversation about it because I didn't want to alert him of that. And then it's at 4% interest, so $700 a month. Actually, it's probably at like 3.5% interest. So.